G'day and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be installing a new head unit. Everything that we've got in the box is the new head unit obviously, but also an Audison front speaker kit. So it's going to be a couple of tweeter pods, new replacement speakers for the factory ones which are pretty average, and the best part of this kit, which I'll get to in more detail, but is the complete wiring harness that comes with it. So this kit is available from Overdrive Car Audio in Castle Hill. Now you might know them as Auto One Castle Hill. They are like sister businesses, so it's not just some random importing business. So Carl from Auto One and Overdrive Car Audio, same company, has made all of these wiring harnesses himself, and everything's done in-house. It's quality gear to begin with, but then the thing that kind of is taking it to the next level is that instead of using like the plug and play harnesses that you can get on the market, which often involve a lot of wiring to retain things like reverse cameras, the handbrake detection needs to be manually done. Everything is supposed to be done with the kit that they provide, so it is a true plug and play solution. So you'll notice that pretty much everything that you need comes in the kit, including things like anti-squeak tape, custom speaker mounts. So these are all 3D printed by Overdrive down in Castle Hill. So you do need these when you're installing larger speakers in the front. And then in here we've got, these are the custom harnesses I was telling you about. The fact that they've made these themselves, and all of the plugs are supposed to be included to directly fit factory things like the reverse camera, should be a huge benefit when you're trying to install it. And then that you can also choose to retain things like the factory USB port, or if you have what they call the COVID era, which is the cars that were built during COVID, they put, it's like pretty dodgy, Suzuki put some pretty dodgy USB ports into the car, so that isn't helping with the connectivity issues. They actually provide replacement USBs as well if you want to go down that route, but because mine's from the kind of Bosch era, we can keep that one in there because there's no issues with the quality. And it also includes a microphone, so these have really poor audio quality. If you've ever been on a phone call, people really struggle to hear you. So it includes a new microphone, which we'll put somewhere up here so that the audio is much clearer. An aftermarket head unit like this, a Kenwood one, Kenwood has a really good reputation. The idea is that the connectivity issues will be fixed. So I'm hoping so. And also the addition of wireless CarPlay will be really good. And then in this box is our speaker upgrade kit. So like I said, they're using Audison. Here we've got the wiring harnesses for the tweeters, and all, like I said, all of the custom harnesses that Carl's made up to suit this. And what's really cool about these tweeter pods is that they're pre-molded plastics specifically for the tweeters, so they'll just replace those factory panels, and you don't need to worry about any custom molding or drilling out the factory ones that are there. You literally just connect the wires and we're good to go. And then last but not least, of course, is the new head unit. So like I said, 9-inch Kenwood, looks super factory, and that's one of the reasons I really love it. A lot of the other aftermarket ones you can get like sit out of their floating head units, or they only fit within this existing enclosure, whereas once that's in, it looks very OEM, and yeah, you'd be pretty hard pressed to tell that this wasn't genuine, other than obviously the Kenwood brand. Now it's worth noting that even though I have chosen to do the front speaker upgrade, you can do the head unit by itself and you're still going to see a pretty decent upgrade in audio quality, and then obviously you're getting all the improved connectivity and functions that come with it. So I've gone ahead and obviously pulled out the old head unit. I've removed the dash and connected the new GPS module which is supplied, and pulled the cable through here. I've also put a new microphone up on the dash and then just ran that cable through the pillar behind the dash, and it is now coming out here. Something else worth noting as well, the factory head units don't have the provisions for an external sub to be plugged straight in, or an amplifier, but the new harness does. So it's just currently closed off, but they have put that there as an option. So if you're going ahead to do the full upgrade now, you can, but if, for example, I wanted to do it in a few months or in a year, I don't have to redo all this wiring or change the head unit. It's already set up to do full front, rear, sub, amp kind of setup, but we'll just leave it connected like this for now because we won't be using it. Now, if you were just doing the head unit alone, you could pretty much, like, this would be the last step, and it's probably only taken me like 20 minutes to do all of this. So it is actually a really easy install. I am quite surprised. But now all we're going to do is just connect all of these harnesses here. And I know it looks a bit complicated, but it really is not. This plug and play harness that they provided is actually really good. But basically we're just going to connect up all of these clips to the back of the head unit, and then we'll test it. But then I still need to do the speaker install as well for this one. Just check that everything's working. Cool, that's it. It's hard to see with the lighting. Pull it up. You can see that it's firing up there. I'll check that the speakers and everything work. This feels very wrong, but you can see it's all working here. Sound's working, you can hear it coming through the speakers. I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm turning it off. Steering wheel control is working, it's changing songs. Super happy with that. That looks really good. This is exactly what I wanted. Obviously I haven't tested the sound quality yet, but next step for me will be to install the side speakers and the side tweeter pods, and then we'll be done. What we're going to do is pull off this door card, replace these front speakers here, which are still the factory speakers, so we'll get to compare the two there, and then we'll also wire this up, and again, all the wiring harnesses have been included. So you'll see here that I've actually put sound deadening on the door. So what it's done is it just cuts out a lot of the vibration there. It's a pretty dodgy job, but I did it a few years ago. And it actually made a huge difference to the quality of the front speakers. So I think that this dodgy DIY mod in unison with the new speakers here is going to be a really good upgrade. This popped off already itself, so that just shows how easy it is to get in here. It's just 2 clips. These clips are just those plastic kind of push clips, so they do break quite easily. Super cheap to replace if you need to get more of them, but you can see they're kind of dotted around there, so when you're pulling the door off, just like any other panel, you just got to be careful that you don't bend them too much. And there was a couple of screws here as well to help hold it in place. So I'll show you, that's the old speaker there, so nothing fancy about it, it's just made of paper, but pretty cheap little speaker there. Now we can compare it to these ones, which, I mean, they look a lot nicer, way heavier than the factory option. This feels like it weighs maybe like 100 grams, and this is like 300 grams. So we'll just get the spacers that they've 3D printed for us. You can even see the size of this magnet here, huge difference. Now I know this isn't the best viewing angle, but you can see now that I've peeled back this sound deadening, and that there originally was a moisture barrier here. We've taken the moisture barrier off to put the sound deadening on, so it's inside the door and covering up basically where the moisture barrier was. I'd probably do it a bit nicer if I was doing it again, but like I said, this was a few years ago, one of the first mods I did. But this is another one of the harnesses that are provided, so we're going to connect up. We've added the little tweeter controller in there, so we're going to connect up these now. The tweeter, once we get up there. Again, look at the difference between these 2 speakers. I feel like I'm absolutely speed running this now that I've done one. The second one's a lot easier, it's just a lot quicker. But basically, we're just going to go through, do the exact same thing, and then close it up, and we're done. So I've obviously talked already about how easy it was to install the head unit and the speakers, and how happy I am with that. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for the installation process, the plug and play harnesses, super easy. But I thought before I reviewed the head unit itself and the sound quality, I should go for a bit of a drive and properly test it. So I've been driving for 35-40 minutes. I have to say I'm absolutely blown away with the audio quality. I'm not a huge audio guy, but I can obviously tell the difference in volume instantly. It's a lot louder, but you also aren't getting distortion at those higher volumes, whereas with the previous speakers, if you're going to full volume, it was just, you couldn't really listen to it. It was just crackly and really bad. But with the tweeters as well, the sound doesn't feel like it's coming at you from the floor. It's moved up and it's coming directly at you head on. So that's a really nice change. The head unit is super responsive, and that really big screen is awesome for maps, or if you've used Apple CarPlay, you can have your maps on one side, your music on the other. But this big screen means that it's actually possible to do that without having a tiny little map that you've got to look at. So I think it's much safer, but just looks absolutely fantastic and really upgrades the interior of the Jimny. Overall, super happy with the installation and the product, the speakers. I'll leave a link below to the head unit and the whole kit, because it is all just available from Overdrive Car Audio, so it's the complete kit. And if you've got any questions, just leave them down below in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.